The Kings take down the King 116-111 without Domantas Sabonis, who is out due to an illness. And the Kings have now won 5 straight games and are 7 games above 500. And they are in third place in the Western Conference. And finally, a game where we can talk about good defense winning us the game. And the guy who won Defensive Player of the Game was a big part of that. Richaun Holmes stepping into the starting spot for Domantas Sabonis. I know a lot of people were questioning that move. Why are you starting Richaun Holmes when you could start Metu or Lyles at the 5? But I think it was. I thought before the game that it was absolutely the right move because he is the guy who has started many games in the past, and in reality, the reason that he hasn't been good this season is he hasn't been able to settle into his bench role. But you could see when he's back in that starting lineup, he just looks so much more settled in. And when he's getting more minutes, he looks so much more like himself because he just gets the opportunities that are given to him offensively. And when you're coming off the bench, you might get no opportunities offensively because of how few minutes you're playing. But he did a great job defensively in this game. He had 16 points, 11 rebounds, 3 of those offensive rebounds, 7 for 7 from the field, and 2 for 2 from the line. And those 2 free throws were at the very end of the game to ice the game when he took that clear path foul at the very end of the game. And he played 31 minutes and was a plus 23 on the game. And one of the big ways that he impacted the game was his switchability onto LeBron, which is something that Sabonis struggled with. So in reality, I mean, Richaun Holmes was a better matchup against the Lakers than Sabonis defensively. Now, Sabonis is a big part of our defense usually, and you could see that in the first quarter where we allowed 39 points. But against a smaller Lakers team, Richaun is a good player to have because so many times we were switching onto LeBron. He was switching onto LeBron, or it was Metu, or it was Lyles. And they all did great jobs of keeping LeBron in front of them. Because down the stretch, the Lakers' only game plan was give the ball to LeBron, and then they would run some screens up just to try to get switches. But that's all the screens were meant to do. They weren't meant to be screens for him to attack. And those are the type of screens that the Kings really struggle with, the pick and rolls, where the player with the ball is actually attacking the basket after them, and the Lakers weren't doing that at all. And the Kings did a good job of not just giving them the switch they wanted freely. And they threw multiple different looks at LeBron, whether it be switching when necessary, doubling, hedging, showing hard, and then recovering back to your man. Just a lot of different looks thrown at LeBron, and we forced him into outside shots, and that's exactly what you have to do. In the first quarter, it looked like the old, Kings from the last however many games just this season. So many points in the paint, LeBron getting to the paint, everyone getting to the paint so easily. But the Kings really flipped the switch in the second quarter defensively. And against a bad three-point shooting Lakers team, it's really just pack the paint and try to deter LeBron from getting into the paint as much as possible because LeBron created everything when he was out there. Every shot was created by him going to the paint, mostly in that first quarter, like I said. But, even in the fourth, he was creating everything still, even if he wasn't getting to the paint as easily. And there were times, obviously, when the Lakers were knocking down shots, but the Kings stayed to their principles, which I loved. They stuck to their game plan, which was just let him shoot. You have to let Westbrook shoot. He made 2 in a row. Doesn't matter. Keep letting him shoot. Yeah, he made 2 in a row in the third there, and then LeBron took one. But even though they made like 2 out of 3 of those, it was a good sign that the Lakers were settling for threes because the Kings are almost always going to win a 3-point contest against the Lakers. When you look through the Lakers 3-point shooters, none of them are very consistent. And so you look at the guys who shot well, and it was Kendrick Nunn, 4 for 6 from 3. Westbrook had a solid shooting game, 2 for 5. And then Christie hit a couple. But LeBron shot 2 for 9 from 3. And Patrick Beverley wasn't good from 3. Schroeder missed his. Gabriel missed his. Troy Brown Jr. missed both of his. And the Kings just did a really good job of forcing them into 3-point shots. And if the Lakers made the shots, then the Kings would have lost, and you live with that because it's all about playing the percentages. De'Aaron Fox carried the offense in this first quarter, and he carried the offense for a large portion of this game. Actually, in that first quarter, the Kings, I think it was tied when De'Aaron Fox went out. And then he went out, and the Lakers went on a massive run, even without LeBron in, because LeBron went out around the same time as Fox. But the Kings just couldn't keep up offensively without Fox. I thought Davion had some good moments offensively, some bad moments offensively. He's not super consistent, and Barnes was struggling in that first quarter. Herter was kind of struggling in that first quarter, and things just looked really bad. But the Kings turned it around so quickly, and the only way you can turn it around quickly is with defense, because we know this team can get back into games with their offense, but you can't erase 14-point deficits quickly if you're letting the other team score most of the time on the other end. And they only allowed the Lakers to get 21 points. And one thing that the Kings did really well in this game was rebounding against a smaller Lakers team. There's definitely a few in the fourth quarter, a few offensive rebounds, a few times where the Kings just couldn't grab the ball, but throughout most of the game, they were doing a really good job rebounding. Trey Lyles, I think, had 3 offensive rebounds in his first 6 minutes in this game. He's obviously very good on the boards. Like I said, Richaun was good on the boards. Mezzi was good on the boards. And then Keegan Murray was also really good rebounding game for him. He tied his career high with 10 rebounds and had his first double-double of his career with 10 points, 10 rebounds. Keegan didn't have the greatest of games, but his rebounding was key, and he shot 50% from the field. He struggled when switched on to either Westbrook or LeBron, and it's just something he's got to improve on, because the Kings were switching, or were playing just straight up their bigs on Westbrook, which they're just trying to dare him into ISO ball to totally disrupt the flow of the Lakers offense. And he fell for it, obviously, because he always does. He wants to run the show. He fell for the ISO ball and was going at our bigs a lot. So whether it was Mezzi or Lyles or Barnes on him, they all did a really good job staying in front of him. But when it was Keegan on him, he could not keep Westbrook in front of him. And then in that second quarter, the offense started to come around with Herter and Barnes finally getting their offense going. Barnes had an inefficient game, but he still had a solid game because we needed him to take shots, and he did that. And he got to the free throw line, and we just needed some offense from him. Even if it's inefficient, we need him to score. And he was doing an amazing job of guarding LeBron on the other end. And then in the third quarter, the Kings had a 1-point lead going into that third quarter, and Kevin Herter came out and just started making play after play after play. He came out, hit a mid-range shot, got a steal, got an assist in transition, and then drove to the basket, made a layup, started knocking down threes, and he was really, really key in this game with 18 points and 8 assists. And he also was good defensively, which is not something I can normally say, but he was really good defensively in this game and was solid even when switched onto LeBron. And he had the best plus minus in this game of plus 30. The Kings had a lead of, I think, 14 at one point, but then Fox went out, and I knew that the lead would start shrinking. It went up actually a little bit when Fox went out, but it didn't last. And the Lakers started bringing it back, and they brought it down to 8 by the end of the fourth quarter. They had all the momentum, but the Kings, honestly, their bench unit did a good job of just surviving and keeping it at 8, keeping them from getting it really close. But I thought it was a mistake not to bring Fox in at the start of the fourth, because we saw how bad we were kind of collapsing without him. And immediately 51 seconds go by, it's down to 4, and Fox comes back in because LeBron started the fourth for the Lakers like he usually does. And it's the Lakers rotations are just weird. I don't know why they have LeBron start the fourth, because then he gets no rest through the whole fourth. He got 1.5 possessions off. It was very weird. But the game was close from there on. Fox took over offensively in the fourth quarter again, but he wasn't taking every shot. And Harrison Barnes had a massive and one to get the lead back after it was tied late, where he had Patrick Beverly on him and he just went at him because that's what he does. He takes advantage of those mismatches and he does such a good job. And I didn't think the play was going anywhere, but then somehow he split the double between Beverly and Westbrook and got the and one. And that was just such a massive play. I thought Fox took too many threes in this game. He hit 2 out of 7, but even those two were pretty bad. He got lucky bounces on both of them. And it frustrates me because I get that he has it going, but it's like you have it going in the mid range and going to the basket. Why are you taking threes? Plus, you can so clearly see on the other side, your whole game plan is to bait Westbrook into shooting. It's like, so that, yeah, that's what they're doing to you. And I don't know why he doesn't see that or just doesn't care and has confidence in his shot. He obviously has confidence in his shot, but he shouldn't, to be honest. He's just not a good three-point shooter, but he's so good at getting anywhere on the floor, and that's what kind of frustrates me because we went up 5 at one point late, and then you can't waste possessions late with LeBron on the other side, even if the Lakers' offense isn't very good. But he took a three early in the shot clock. It just was not a good decision, and then the Lakers ended up coming back and tying it. But the Kings' defense bailed them out in this game and actually played really good defense against LeBron at the end of this game. Davion Mitchell was playing really good defense. He even had a block on a three-point shooter. I thought he totally got beat like on the step back, but then somehow recovered to get the block. It's really insane how fast he can change directions and change speeds and how fast he can just get out and block a shot for being such a small player. It's really crazy. He didn't have the best offensive game. I would have liked him to look for his offense a little more, and because all his shots came in the first half, I think it was, and he started off with jump shots instead of attacking the rim, but he's so fast. I don't know why he doesn't attack the rim more. And then Malik Monk was rough in this game offensively, 1 for 9, and usually when he attacks the rim, he's a great finisher, but he wasn't even finishing in this game, and his three-point shot also wasn't there. So definitely a rough game for him. And you would think that without Sabonis, if Malik Monk isn't going, we would lose the game. But that really shows the improvement defensively. Whether that defensive improvement is sustainable, probably not in this way because it is just the Lakers and their offense is kind of different than most other teams in that it's very static, and the Kings struggle when it's pick and rolls going downhill towards the hoop, and the Lakers weren't running any of that, and so it's just a matter of staying in front of their man. But you obviously just play what's in front of you, and the Kings did a really good job of that. And obviously, we saw that the Kings allowed 136 points to the Lakers in the last game against them, so obviously there's a big improvement there. Going back to Richaun Holmes, I don't know if this is sustainable because I don't know when Sabonis is going to be back, obviously, but I'm sure it will be very soon. And obviously the question is, does Richaun Holmes get backup center minutes again because of this one game? Or what happens there? Because maybe this game as a starter settles him in and he is able to actually produce as a backup. But it's really just a wait and see thing because we know he's a solid starting center in this league, but for some reason just hasn't been able to do it on the bench. But if not for anything else, this was at least a good showcase to the rest of the league that he still has it and when he is given opportunity can produce in starting minutes. Watching games against the Lakers is just a different experience than watching any other team because it is so much just about one person on every possession for the Lakers offensively, and for the Kings it's just focus on one person and let everyone else shoot, and mostly Westbrook shoot. And if Westbrook has the ball on any possession, then it's focus on him or lay off him. And it's a very odd experience, just kind of everyone gravitating towards one player, being LeBron, just kind of dribbling for 24 seconds at beyond the 3-point line. And it's kind of scary, just like, please just don't make the shot. I mean, that's what you're hoping for. Just don't make the shot. Because it's not even so much I hope they play good defense as just I hope he doesn't make some fadeaway mid-ranger or some open three that we give him. But that's what playing percentages is, and it's the right move, and it paid off today. It didn't pay off in the last game against the Lakers, maybe because they didn't do it as much and they let them more in the paint, but this time it definitely paid off, even with the Lakers hitting some crazy 3-point shots. Also, one thing I forgot to mention about a big difference between this game and the last game that we played against the Lakers was just Thomas Bryant. He was way worse in this game and couldn't even play down the stretch. He's such a liability defensively for the Lakers that if he doesn't have it going offensively, they can't play him. And he made a couple of his mid-range shots, and he's obviously someone that scares me. And when the Lakers have it going to the rim, he finds so many little pockets, like Richaun Holmes does, just in that mid-range, kind of closer to the basket in the paint, where he can just take those little middies and drain them pretty much every time. They're automatic. But he didn't get as many because the Kings actually did a better job of stopping them from getting to the paint so easily. It really is crazy to see this team in the third spot in the Western Conference and actually some legit separation to the 5 spot. Obviously, still a lot of season to go, and by legit separation, I mean a couple games, which can be made up very quickly, but this season so far just surpassing all expectations. And the Kings have a chance to keep their winning streak going. They now go into a 4-game homestand, starting with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have been playing very well as of late. They are in the play-in picture now, and they have won 4 straight games now. Josh Giddey has been playing very well. Obviously, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been playing incredibly well this entire season. He's averaging over 30 points per game. And they're just a team with a lot of talented young guys. They are a legit team and not one that we can kind of roll over like the Rockets or the Spurs. But saying all that, obviously the Kings will be pretty heavily favored in this game. And kind of like with the Lakers, you got to play the percentages against the Thunder and let a lot of their guys shoot threes. Try to get them to shoot threes because Shai is not the best shooter. Giddey's not a great shooter. Lou Dort is not a great shooter. So a lot of their top guys are not good shooters. They do have good shooters down their roster, but you definitely can lay off those guys a little bit. It's going to be obviously all downhill with Shai attacking the basket and the same with Giddey. So we'll see if the Kings can keep up their good paint defense that they had against the Lakers. And obviously a lot of what will happen will be dependent on whether Sabonis is back or not from his illness. And I didn't mention because it's not that big of a deal, but Dellavedova is also out with an illness, and Alex Len has been out with an illness. And that kind of, the Alex Len part was a little bigger of a deal with Sabonis also being out. And last time Sabonis missed the game, Len was the starter. I don't think even if Len was healthy, he would have been the starter in this game due to matchups. But he may have gotten some minutes, but probably not. Anyways, that is it for this episode of the Royal Report. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're listening to the audio version of the podcast, make sure to leave a rating and a review. You can follow me on Twitter at _ the Royal Report, and I will see you guys next time to recap the game against the Thunder. Peace.